Hello and welcome back to Inmr. Today I'm going to be joined by Horsham midfielder Charlie Hester-Cook. We'll be speaking about his 8 years at QPR, Horsham's incredible FA Cup run and of course the lessons he's learnt along the way. All that and more is coming up, so I hope you enjoy. Here's Charlie's story. So to start off with, if you could just let the listeners know who you are, your club, position, just a bit about yourself.
I'm Charlie Hester-Cook, 23. I'm currently playing at Horsham, which is in the Inmr Premier, and I play centre midfield.
Lovely. And what was your first footballing memory if we go all the way back?
Probably when I was about 3 or 4 with my dad, just going down to the park, just kicking the ball around. Nothing too serious, but no, just my dad. My family's quite a big football family, so it was always going to go down that route. My cousin actually played for QPR, Fulham, Watford, so we're quite a big footballing family. So yeah, probably when I was about 3 or 4, just going down the park with my dad, and then obviously just progressed further, joining a club and stuff like that, a Sunday League, and then it goes from there.
Yeah, so from there, can you talk us through that path of getting to that Sunday League all the way to where you are now?
I actually started through what my best mate at the time, who is still my best mate now, his dad sort of ran a football club near me, and one day after school he took us to the first ever training session for our age group, which probably would have been under 6s, which was a team in Isleworth, and just went to the first training session there. I remember driving there, and then just really enjoyed it, and then I played there for about 2 seasons, under 6s, under 7s, and then done really well. And then my coach there at the time got offered a job at QPR Academy, so he basically scouted our whole team, because we had quite a good team back then. He basically scouted our whole team to go in on trial at QPR, and then obviously only a few of us got signed. It happened, I was at QPR from under 8s till under 16s, and funnily enough, my whole family supports QPR, so it was quite cool. My dad really enjoyed it, and I was there for like 8 years, so I didn't really experience too much playing grassroots. I was lucky enough, the first club went on trial at properly was QPR, and I got offered, and I stayed there basically my whole youth. That was where it started, and that's where it was. Obviously, like everyone does, you sort of go into like Arsenal and Tottenham and stuff like that, but nothing really came of it. But QPR was my first proper club where I was signed to, and it was really good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, lovely. And obviously a lot of people do go through that phase of having to wait ages to get into academy, and some unfortunately never do. What was that transition like coming out of QPR?
It was tough, because obviously that was all I'd known. Unfortunately, when I was 15, I broke my leg. I broke my femur, which is a thigh bone. So it ended up I missed a season, and then I come back from that, and it was sort of a bit hard to get going again due to that. And obviously it's hard to take rejection, but I sort of see it coming. So the transition wasn't too bad in my head. The most daunting thing is like going into a new club, because obviously I've never had to experience going into a new place and meeting new people, and so the transition wasn't too bad, because under 16s I still went into a full-time program with Woking. It wasn't too bad, but almost obviously the drop in the levels from playing at a championship club at the time to going to a non-league club was quite tough to take. But at the same time, I just wanted to go and enjoy my football again and get playing, as previous years I hadn't played as much as I'd wanted to due to injuries and stuff. So transition wasn't too bad, but I think if you sort of get yourself in the right state of mind and prepare yourself for what's to come, then it's not too bad. I know some people find it tough, to leave a pro environment or pro academy, because that's like sort of your identity and like what you're known for and what when you go through school and stuff. But for me, it was all right, and I still enjoyed it, and I still enjoy my football now, so it wasn't too bad for me. Since
you've spoken about your leg injury, is that the biggest obstacle you've had to overcome in your career?
Yeah, I would definitely say that, because at the time I'd like to think I was doing quite well at QPR, and who knows, but it set me back, and I was out for like 10 months. I had a full leg cast on me, but I guess at the time I didn't really know the level of how bad it was, so I sort of just got on with it. Where if that happened now, I think it probably would have been a lot tougher to take. But yeah, that's probably, yeah, I wasn't a one to get injured as well at the time, so to have a big one like that did put me back. And who, if I didn't have that, who knows? But you can't really think like that. But I'd definitely say that probably is one of the biggest obstacles. I think injuries in general, any sort of injuries that sideline you for a decent amount of time, is always an obstacle to overcome. And I think you always come out on the stronger side of it anyway, and it always helps you in the long run.
Yeah, what was it like mentally as well? Because I think one thing that goes overlooked, obviously you're down that you're injured, but in terms of the mental aspect coming back to football, because a lot of people are, a bit apprehensive and scared going back to football afterwards.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, at the time, it was like that's like make or break as well for a lot of players, whether you get offered another contract or get your scholarship. I think you also always have doubts if you're still at the level. When you come back from injury, like, oh, can I still do it? Can I keep up with the lads? And I think that still happens today. Even when you come back, the first time you start training after an injury, you're never up to scratch. You're never fully, match sharp, even for the first few months. So it always plays in your mind, like, can I still do it? And you're here, you're there for a reason. So it is a big mental game just to get over that mental barrier of, I can do it. And even when I had an ankle injury recently, when you come over it, it's just like you always have doubts. Is it going to be the same? And you are a bit apprehensive to go into them challenges. But I think once you get over the first hurdle of actually doing it, then you're all right. It is a big mental challenge, especially in football, because it's it's such a competitive industry, and obviously there's loads of people that love playing it, and yeah, especially now it's still growing, and everyone wants to try and be a footballer. So
definitely. And our previous guest, Brad Barry, actually had a very similar thing. He was at Brighton. He had a big leg injury as well, and he obviously had to come out as well. It is unfortunate, especially at such a young age. But it's nice to hear that that wasn't the end for you. You got on with Woking, and now you're at Horsham. So talk us through the process of signing for Horsham.
This is my third season at Horsham. So I was actually at Dorking before, and that come about during the COVID season. Yeah, well, I was at Leatherhead then, and obviously the COVID season hit, so we obviously weren't playing. And then I got offered the chance to go to Dorking, which was obviously everyone's sort of must hear about Dorking and their story and their rise through the ranks. So I went there. I didn't play too much because of the COVID, so it was a lot behind doors. And then I got another injury on my ankle, which meant the season I went to Horsham, I went on loan just to get some game time and get back playing football and enjoy my football again. And just really enjoyed my 3 months on loan there, and decided to make it permanent in the new year of that season. And then from there, it's just been a steady progression in terms of just playing week in, week out, and enjoying some good moments. Like we had the FA Cup first round that season I went there, and then obviously you've seen recently we've had a good FA Cup run again. So it's been really good. I'm really enjoying it, and it's a club on the up, and especially in the Sussex area.
Completely agree. Who in particular has guided you and inspired you throughout your career?
I would say my parents mainly, just because even now I'm 23 and they still come to every game. Even if I'm not playing, they'll still come. If I'm injured, they'll want to come and watch. And if I'm on the bench, maybe, or I'm come back from injury, they'll always be there. And my dad was a big football fan, and he's a big football fan, and he did enjoy playing football, but he never really played at a level of a decent level. So he sort of inspires me, and he keeps me on my toes to keep going. And yeah, I'd say definitely my mum and dad, because especially when you're younger in that academy environment, it can be quite hectic and quite, there's a lot of fixtures, and you train like 2-3 times a week at like 15. Got to go to training for them after work. And so yeah, I'd definitely say my parents for sure.
Yeah, 100%. I think a lot of parents sacrifice a lot, especially when they have children in that academy setting.
Yeah, it's so chaotic and it's so hectic, because once you get to like under 14 level, they sort of up the training for me anyway to like 3 times a week, and they work during the day, so to go 3 times a week in the evenings after work, and then to go Saturdays or Sundays, it can be quite a lot, and it can, I'm sure it maybe took its toll at times, but yeah, definitely it's the same for a lot of people, isn't it, if you've been in that environment.
So what is a typical match day like for you from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to bed?
If it's on a Saturday, then obviously I have a little bit of a lay-in. I get up, get ready, shower. Sometimes, if I'm feeling a bit tired or fatigued, I'll go for like a walk just to like get the legs going, and then I'll come back, usually eat my breakfast around 11, a bit later on a match day, and then make my way to the game for around 1:30, and then do all your pre-match stuff, get your rubs, get your ankles strapped, and then it's game time. So, but if it's on a midweek, and obviously for us part-time footballers, it's a lot harder because obviously we all work, so that's a bit more difficult to prep for, because you've obviously got to work and you've got to try and get to the game in the evening. But on a Saturday, it's nice and chilled.
How do you get into the zone before a match on a Saturday when you've got a bit more time to prepare yourself?
Yeah, I think you can think about the game a lot more and what you want to try and achieve in the game. Whereas, during the midweek, you're at work, so you're focusing on that. And then when you get to the ground, you kind of switch on, you're like, right, it's game time. But on a Saturday, I just try and put my music in sometimes, just, try and think about how the games can go. Maybe sometimes watch back some clips of my games. But just sort of chill out, think about the game, watch some old clips, and go from there, and just try and get in the zone for the game, because the league I'm in at the minute with Horsham, it's a really competitive league, so there's not really any room for error.
Yeah, I mean, when you take a look at that league table, it's so tight everywhere. There's just like a few points in it. So obviously it's always quite high stakes in your league. Do you get nervous before games? And if you do, how do you deal with that?
I think nerves are good. I always, no matter what game it is, I always, have butterflies, just because I want to do well, and I want to perform on the pitch. I don't really know, to be honest. I've sort of always been used to it, so I sort of just take it step by step and in my stride. And I think you just got to focus on the first action of the game, and I think if you get that right, then it puts you in good stead for the rest of the game.
I completely agree. So we spoke about it a little bit earlier, that FA Cup game against Barnsley. Obviously yesterday didn't go the way you guys wanted it to, but if we go back to that 3-3 draw, talk us through that, just the whole day. What was that like?
It was unreal. Obviously we made the trip down the day before, stayed in the hotel the night before the game, all the stuff like this is what full-time pros do, so it was nice to get a taste of it just for even if it's for a couple of days. Obviously going up to Barnsley, they're a big club, they really are a championship club, so we were all obviously very nervous, and we didn't want to, because obviously everyone's going to see the result, so we didn't want to come across as a bad side, because we know we're not. So on the day we just prepped like it was a Saturday. We had a little training session in the morning, went for a walk, and then we just had our pre-match meal and made the way to the ground, and it's a great experience. It's obviously a massive stadium, but I think it's 23,000 seater. It is probably the best stadium I've played in, and for many of the lads it definitely was, and it doesn't come around often. The boys put in a great performance, and we got a memorable draw against a high-flying team in League One, which doesn't happen often, so it was a really good evening, and we really enjoyed it.
Yeah, and I mean, one thing that surprised me was how many fans made their way to Barnsley. What was that like, coming out and seeing the amount of people that have come to watch you guys play? Yeah,
especially on a Friday night, and it is a work day. I think there was like 600 odd Horsham fans in the stand, and when you come out for the warm-up, and they're all there clapping and cheering, it gives you that extra fight to go and get a result. And I think that's what, if there maybe wasn't 600 fans, it might not have spurred us on as much. The support was unreal, and that showed last night as well, and it showed throughout the season at Horsham. We had 1,600 at our home game on Saturday in the league, which is unreal as well for the level we're at. So it was a unbelievable support.
that sort of level of football, it is increasingly rising. As you say, football is continuously growing, and in the lower leagues more and more people are attending, playing, so it's great to see, really.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are finding the love for non-league football in recent times. I think mainly one of the reasons could be the quality of the level. The levels have gone up in the last 10 years. You get a lot of full-time players that have been in the league and they drop down a bit maybe earlier than they would have 10 years ago to play it, because the level's actually decent, especially in the Sussex area. I think the following of a lot of non-league clubs in the Sussex area is up there. It beats a lot of London clubs, like Worthing, for example. Eastbourne get good attendances. Lewis in our league get good attendances. So I think in general, like Sussex, especially with Sussex football in non-league, it's definitely shrising quicker than most.
Yeah, totally agree. What are your short-term and long-term goals for football?
Short term this season, just with Horsham, we want to get playoffs minimum. So I think if we get playoffs, that's a success for us, and that'll be the highest the club has ever finished at this level. Maybe winning cups like the Sussex Senior Cup. I know for our next aim now, we had a good run in the FA Cup. We want to get a good run in the FA Trophy, because that leads to Wembley. You can play some big conference prem teams in that. So short term, definitely this season to win a trophy at least, and definitely get playoffs and go for that promotion. Long term, just to keep enjoying my football and play the highest level that I can, and stay injury free, because you see nowadays a lot of players, their careers always come to an end early because of injuries. So just to stay fit, keep my body in check, and push up and try and play the highest level possible, and not put too much pressure on myself, because I'm 23 now, I'm not 18 like I was, but obviously it's never too late. But yeah, just to play the highest level I can and just enjoy my football long term.
Is there sort of a league that you look to that you think, yeah, that's what I'm aiming for, or do you just think it's limitless, just see how far I can go without putting a cap on it?
Yeah, I haven't really thought, I want to play this league. I just want to, enjoyment is the main thing for me now, and I'm really enjoying it at Horsham. If it means that I climb the leagues in the next couple of seasons and get to a Conference South or Conference Prem, and that's a bonus. But as long as I'm enjoying it, yeah, the aim would be just to play as hard as I can and just enjoy my football.
Obviously, as you're growing up, I'm sure there's plenty of footballers that you look to replicate your game off and sort of, I want to do that in a game because they do it. At the moment, is there anyone that you try and base your game off of?
At the moment, not so much. But when I was younger, I always used to love Jack Wilshere. That was sort of my sort of idol growing up. He was obviously playing centre midfielder. We kind of have similar builds in a sense. Like, he was quite, stocky, agile, and in that sense, he liked to rat around and get around the pitch. So when I was growing up, I always tried to base my game off him, and just be that creative midfielder and make goals and create goals and score goals. So definitely would be like Jack Wilshere. Unfortunately, like I said earlier, his career come to an early end due to injury, and that's the sad reality of it sometimes.
Yeah, and this is a bit off topic actually, but do you think, you see footballers at the highest level now play so many games per season? Do you think that's having an impact on the amount of players who get injured quite young and can't play again?
Yeah, it's, at the end of the day, the football industry is a business, isn't it? So the more games that are on in a season, it's more entertainment for the fans, it's more money, it's more revenue. So obviously that's increased in the last 5-10 years. There's a lot more competitions. So it definitely I think will take its toll on players when they get to that sort of 30. I'm sure there's studies done on it that probably back that. But yeah, I probably would say, the amount of games. Even now in non-league, there's so many cups. You've got county cups, you've got league cups, you've got the trophy, you've got FA Cup, you have replays in them cups, you've got 40 odd league games. So in the end, you are playing like 60 odd games a season.
What is one thing a coach has said to you that has stuck with you throughout your entire career? It's
a tough one. You've caught me off guard with this one. I had a good academy coach at Woking, Scott Harrison. Whenever I had an injury or doubt myself, he just, he used to always reiterate that you've played at the level you have, and you've been there because you can do it. And I think he always used to say it's always just about believing in yourself and never doubting what you can do. I think when managers say that to you, and it always, it sticks with you, because when someone believes in you, and it just gives you that extra drive to kick on. And when you have moments of doubt, you just remember that, like, you've been here before, and it just to always believe in what you can do. I think that's the main one.
Brilliant. And final question for you: what are 3 pieces of advice you would give to a young player looking to make it as a professional footballer?
Firstly, especially nowadays, I think since I was a kid anyway, the competitiveness of it is gone up to new levels. Like, you see these kids on social media now, and they're like 6, 7, and they're absolutely unreal. So advice would just to be, live and breathe football, and always believe in what you do. Work on your craft every day whenever you can, and just to keep on improving. Secondly, just listen. I think listening is big. I know people, when you're younger especially, you can be quite ignorant to people's criticism or constructive criticism. So I'd always be open to listening and learning off peers. Thirdly, just enjoy it as well, because it's a short career. Might start at 16, it could be over by 30, 32. That's only 15, 16 years of your whole life. So definitely just enjoy it and embrace it while you're in it, because the years do go quickly as you get older. So yeah, that would be that.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Charlie. Really appreciate you taking the time out. That is where we're going to end today's podcast. Thank you very much for listening, and I will be back soon with another one.